evening, everyone. I hope you are well where you are. This is a very special day. My name is Buang Monaledi, and I am facilitating this year's Kingdom Youth Summit 2022. If I had Ambassador Desire here, I would ask her to do the but I can't do it, so I'll let it go. Today is a very special day. We are commemorating our youth, the youth of 1976. 46 years ago, they were fighting for their rights, and we are in a new era. We are also having things that we need to fight for. We know things that are not right, we know things that are not fair, and we have our own weapons in the kingdom to fight with. We don't use the weapons of the world, we have our own weapons to fight with, actually. And we have a special ambassador today who's going to share with us, who's going to help us fight this battle. He's going to be talking about a very special message for kingdom, 4 keys, actually, of successful people. Let me introduce him. Ambassador Sibahle. He was born in Cape Town and raised in the Eastern Cape in a village called Mbizana. He moved back to Cape Town to start going to school, where he spent most of his young adult years. After matriculating from Gardens Commercial High School, he enrolled at the AAA School of Advertising to study visual communication before starting his career in advertising as an art director in Bester Bierke. He currently owns and operates Full Color Advertising and Subtle Meetup. Now he's a partner at the Kingdom Community SA and assists Ambassador Mongi in setting up KCSA's brand and communication strategy in the planning team. I would gladly like to welcome him right now. Take it away, Ambassador Sibahle. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Buang, for that welcome. I really feel welcome. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here to deliver what I hope to be an enjoyable message for everybody. Thank you, ambassadors, for joining us for this briefing. What I will be doing today, I want to focus on 4 major keys of successful people. These are keys that I believe in any sphere of life, in any area of passion or purpose or gifting that you function in, that you have to have with you if you want to reach success, right? So I'll dive straight in. The first thing I want us to do is first define what success is, because sometimes we can have a different understanding of what success is. So I define success like this. Success is the accomplishment of an aim or purpose. It's an accomplishment of an aim or a purpose. It is usually in good company with a few things. It usually comes with notoriety, meaning you get known for what you do because you're so good at it. Other people will be famous. It normally also comes with social status. And wherever it goes, it normally walks with wealth, right? When you are successful, the reason why I say it normally works with wealth is that when you are successful or good at something, you are normally paid a premium for what you do, right? So it can be also another clue of what you are really good at, when people want to pay you for that thing that you do, right? So that's how I would define success. As an accomplishment of an aim or a purpose, right? So the number 1 key first I want to start with is purpose. What is purpose? So I'll start with defining it, and then we'll go into it a little bit. So purpose is defined this way. It's the original reason for which something is created or for which something exists. That which you were sent here to perform and for which you began. So what I mean about that is that before you came onto earth, right, there was a particular need or particular purpose that God wanted to achieve on earth. He then goes back and he creates you and introduces you to earth in order for you to fulfill that he has purposed, and he puts it in you, right? So that's what purpose is defined at. It's the original thing or intent for which you were created, right? Now, purpose is a very powerful thing, because once you've discovered your purpose, it does a couple of things in your life. The number 1 thing purpose does, it simplifies your life, right? Because what purpose then does, it says, I know where I'm going, I know what I'm here to do, Therefore, I know where I'm not going, and I know what I'm not here to do, right? It even starts dictating to you places and people you can be around, right? So for instance, if I know that my purpose is to be a world-beating football player, right? You are not catching me at Chisanyama every weekend because I need to watch my nutrition. You are not catching me at nightclubs, at parties till the wee hours of the morning because I understand for the purpose which I am created for, rest is important and recovery in my life so that I can make it on time to the next training session the following day so that by Saturday, when it's match day, I'm at the peak of my physical ability. So that's what purpose starts doing in your life. When you discover your purpose, you start disciplining yourself in terms of things you do, places you go, and places you don't go, and things you don't do, right? So that's purpose. I have a few thoughts on purpose also that I want to share. The first one is that purpose is the right thing, right? Not just a good thing. So when you know what your purpose is to do in life, you know what the right things you are supposed to do. You don't get distracted by things that are good to do because they are not right for you, right? So for instance, it is good for when you are happy to sing and shout for joy. If you're a professional singer, you need to protect your voice and your vocal cords. So it is not good for you every other day to be shouting and singing at the top of your voice because you need to maintain your vocal cords. That's another example of it's a right and good thing to do. But for you, I mean, it's a good thing to do, but for you, it's not the right thing to do. Another thought, purpose is a destination, and destination is destiny. What I mean about that, when you know your purpose, you know exactly where you are going, meaning there's a destination for where your purpose will be actualized or manifested, right? So what that then means is that where you are standing right now, once you've discovered your purpose, there's a particular destination of place that you need to go to. Hence, it becomes a destination. Destiny just comes from the word destination. It means there's a place where you need to get to, right? The third thought I wanted to touch on is that purpose is the end. It is the end set by God, and then He goes back to begin it, right? So what that means is that you have to understand that God is not limited by time, right? He knows the beginning of a thing from its end and the end of a thing from its beginning. So when He wants to accomplish something, He goes to the beginning and creates and finishes it. And then He packages it in a human being, and He sends that human being onto earth to fulfill it. That's what I mean, that it is the end set by God, and then He goes back to begin it, right? It can be a little bit confusing, but that's basically what it is. So your birth was caused because of destiny. The reason you were born is because there's a particular thing that was supposed to be fixed on earth. God doesn't create throwaway things. You are not a sample. You are not a prototype. You are the finished work of a particular solution for earth that is packaged in human form. So that's what I mean about your birth is the evidence that there is purpose in your life. If you are born and you are alive on earth and watching this video, there's a purpose for you. There's a reason why you are here, right? So you need to discover that. Another point I wanted to touch on is you don't go to your destiny, right? So your destiny is not some place that you need to go to. Your destiny pulls you. What I mean about that, have you ever noticed that when you are doing things that you are not passionate about, you get frustrated? Because all in your mind, you are thinking of that thing you want to do. How can I just get to that playing field? How can I just get to the basketball court? How can I just get to the gym because I want to be the world's best bodybuilder? How can I get to the soccer field? This class has been running too long, man. I just need to go there and show them flames. Because your destiny is pulling you towards itself, right? By the way, please stay in class and study. I'm not saying don't study now. But what I'm trying to say to you, when you are doing things that are outside of your destiny, the first evidence that this is not your purpose or is not something that you are destined to do is the frustration that you will have. Secondly, even when you are successful and people are clapping for you, you internally will be frustrated. And sometimes you'll even be depressed. It is possible to be successful at things that are not destined for you and be a public success and privately be feeling like a failure. You can have the public's applause while privately you are suffering because you are not in the thing that you want to do, right? For instance, it's a bit of a ridiculous example, but it's an example nonetheless. It is ridiculous for you to expect a fish to be the greatest flyer on earth. Now, a fish can, from time to time, jump out of water. We've seen this with dolphins and some other species. I think with salmon also, when they are swimming upstream, they'll sometimes jump out of the water, and it will look like they're flying. But that is not what they are proficient at. But you'll never see a fish that is stressed out about swimming. You wouldn't even see a fish going for swimming lessons, because its purpose was designed and packaged in it. So it doesn't have to learn how to swim or do backstrokes or butterflies. Immediately it hits water when it's born, it flies. Purpose is realized, right? Now, another thing about purpose, your purpose will haunt you every good thing you do that is not right, that is not the right thing for you to do. What I mean about that, you can be doing things that look like you are succeeding. So your purpose will haunt every good thing you do that is not the right thing for you to do, right? So you don't want to be in a situation where you are succeeding in the wrong thing for you, because it will bring frustration. It can even bring depression into your life. So what you want to do is discover what your purpose is, what your gifts are, and function in that area. Because you know when people say, find what you love to do and you'll never have to work a day in your life, it doesn't mean there will not be hard work, but it won't be toil for you, because this is something that you are so good at. I'll give you an example. When you watch Cristiano Ronaldo play soccer or watch Messi play soccer, there is no question in your mind that this person was supposed to be doing this thing. But when you're watching somebody with two left legs, you're like, Baba, this is not the one for you, right? And even that person is frustrated in the field, because every time the ball comes to him, he's panicking, he wants to kick it away. I don't want to have this ball on my feet, because it's not in the thing that he was purposed for. He's not functioning in their gift. So like in other areas of your life, which may not be sport, if you are functioning in an area of your life that is not your purpose, it will frustrate you. And when you know what your purpose is, and you are not doing it, what your purpose is will haunt you constantly. Now, the last thing I want to talk about when it comes to purpose is that purpose is the only true measure of success. You cannot measure success outside of purpose. For instance, if I say to you, I want you to build me a black coffee table, and you build me the best design couch I've ever seen in my life, it can even get design awards, you have failed. Because what I had requested from you is to build a beautiful black coffee table. You built something else that is applauded by everybody else in the world, but you failed in the thing that I had requested from you. So success is the only true measure. So purpose is the only true measure of success. You will be measured whether you are successful or not according to what you are purposed to do in life. So those are just a few points I wanted to touch on when it comes to purpose. And then I'll move on to my second key. So the first key for highly successful people is purpose, is discovering your purpose. The second key is planning. Now, planning is defined like this. So planning is a detailed proposal for doing or achieving a successful desired outcome or vision. I'll repeat that. It is a detailed proposal for doing or achieving a successful desired outcome or a vision. Success also can be looked at in this way. It is the orderly ongoing advancement towards a goal and the ultimate achievement of that goal. So now, if we know that success is the orderly ongoing advancement of a goal and the ultimate achievement of that goal, how then do we plan in order to achieve that particular successful goal? We need to make sure that we are detailed in how we... So planning is this. I know I want to go to Johannesburg, for instance, right? So my plan would consist of this thing. Where am I right now? What resources do I have to get me to Johannesburg? What is the least resistant path I need to travel to get to Johannesburg? These are details. Do I take a flight? Am I going to drive a car? Am I going to walk? Am I going to be on a horse? What resources do I have that will get me to my destination in the preferred manner that I want to reach that destination? So that's a plan. That's why you want to be very detailed in your plan. You also want to write your plan down. You don't want your plan living in your head, right? You want to make sure that you write your plan down so that you are accountable to your plan. You want to make sure that your plan, when you write it down, the vision itself can be high level, but your plan needs to be detailed enough so that you can convert it into a schedule of activities that you want to do. Otherwise, what you will end up having is a situation where you have a plan, but it's not operational. You can't put it to work, and therefore you are always looking at it and wondering when you will start at it. So you want to be very detailed in your plan. I also just want to share a few thoughts when it comes to planning. One of the greatest teachers that I love learning from is Dr. Miles Monroe. As a matter of fact, my definition of success, where I was saying success is the orderly ongoing achievement towards a goal and the ultimate achievement of that goal, I got it from him, right? So a couple of thoughts that he shared that just had my mind going, wow, right? He says that planning is faith and faith is planning. And I thought about that, right? So if you really have faith for something that you want to do in your life, it is impossible for you not to plan. If you don't really believe that you can achieve that thing, you won't plan, because it will be like pie in the sky. It's something nice to shout about, oh, I believe I can do this thing. But if you really believe you're going to be doing this thing, your life will be the evidence of that, right? You will put actions behind that. That's why he says planning is faith and faith is planning, because without faith, without work, faith without works is dead. So if there's no actions to back up what you're believing for yourself and what you believe you can achieve and do in your life, then really you're living in a fantasy. So planning is a critical part in showing even to yourself that you believe that you can achieve this particular thing. And the more detailed your plan is, the better. So I've already shared with you that planning without action is dead. Plans are useless without the work to back them up. So this thing is like saying to yourself, I believe I'm going to be the greatest painter in the world, but you have no plan to do that. Have you planned where you're going to get your paint brushes from? What type of paint you want to use? Where are you getting your canvas? Where are you going to set up your studio in order for you to actually start practicing painting? Because once I start seeing paint brushes around you, once I start seeing shirts with paint on them, sneakers with paint, then I understand that this man means what he is saying. He really believes he's going to be the greatest painter in the world. There's actions behind what you are saying. We also know that he who fails to plan, plans to fail. So you knowing what your purpose is in life, you believing that you can achieve that great thing in your life, but you have no plan, then I know that you are actually planning to fail at that thing you're believing you're going to do. So plan. Get to it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Your plan needs to speak to you. You need to understand what your plan is about, right? We can get to planning when you're going to be leading other people at a later stage, but it needs to be detailed enough for you to actually understand exactly what you need to do. Okay, cool. Now, another point I wanted to look at is this point. God does not plan for you, even though he has a plan for you. You are the one who needs to plan. You are the one who needs to write the details of what you want to do and how you're going to achieve this thing. It's not going to fall from the sky. It's going to take you taking a pen and paper or sitting in front of a laptop and typing this thing out. I'll complete it with this thought that I also got from Dr. Miles. He says, planning is the highest expression of faith in God. So when you plan and write down a plan, you are actually saying to God, I believe what you have told me, and therefore I'm going to put out a plan down to achieve it. So that's planning. That was our second key. Let's look at our third key when it comes to highly successful people. Highly successful people plan. The reason why you look at people who are successful at what they do and it looks easy to them, because they have a structured life of how they live according to their purpose. Again, I'll use an example of an athlete. a person like a Cristiano Ronaldo or a Usain Bolt, they know the exact number of hours they need to sleep. They know the exact number of hours they need to exercise, no less, no more. They know the exact amount of food they need to put into your body. They have a nutritional plan. They have a physical exercise plan. They have a sleeping plan. They have a rest plan and a recovery plan. By the time you see them on the field or see them on the track running, and it looks like this guy looks like he's not even putting in effort and he's just beating everybody else out the park, is because they have exercised their plan. By the time it comes to the world stage, they are just cruising, right? So that's what plans help you with. But another key after planning, the third key, is self-discipline. There's multiple disciplines in the world, but self-discipline is a very critical one in your life if you want to be successful, right? So self-discipline is defined as follows. It is a set of self-imposed standards for the sake of a higher goal. These are standards that you self-impose, not somebody else, to yourself for the sake of a higher goal, right? So I can sacrifice going to that party on Friday. I can sacrifice watching that movie on a Thursday night. I can sacrifice eating that burger, right? I can sacrifice drinking that soda because I want to be at the peak of my physical abilities so that come match day on Saturday, when that whistle goes, let's start, nobody is seeing me on this field. That's because I have self-imposed standards. That's self-discipline, right? Now, when you do not have self-discipline and you throw off all restraint, it normally leads to destruction. You can see a person, even in the physical, who has no self-discipline when it comes to their body, when it comes to what they eat, when it comes to what they drink, when it comes to how much time they spend in rest, when it comes to whether they groom themselves or not, it normally goes south. They normally are exhausted when they need to do tasks at work. They don't have full energy to engage in these tasks. And they may not even be aware that they're supposed to be disciplined in their nutrition, in their rest time, or in their grooming and all these other things. But it has results. When you don't have self-discipline, you will live with the consequences. When you have self-discipline, you will live with the benefits. So when you have self-discipline, you normally will attract certain benefits in your life. When you don't have self-discipline, when you throw off all restraint, you will have to live with the consequences. I would choose benefits. So self-discipline is the root of leadership. What I mean about that, if you're going to lead in any sphere of life, in any activity in life, you're going to have self-discipline. People are attracted to people who are disciplined. The reason why we watch people who do endurance sports, whether it be triathlons, whether it be marathons, when we go to fields and pack up stadiums to watch people who play rugby, who play soccer, and all these other sports, is because we realize the level of self-discipline you need to have to function at that level, right? This is also why in advertising, we mostly use athletes or entertainers when it comes to marketing products or services, right? Because these are the people who attract attention. Human beings are attracted to people who practice self-discipline in their lives because it's not easy for people to have self-discipline. It requires you to make certain sacrifices. That's why people who have self-discipline normally stand out from the crowd, right? So discipline is the root of leadership, right? So if you're going to lead in any sphere of life, you're going to have self-discipline. People are also attracted to people who are disciplined because it says to them, this is possible. Hence, I will follow this guy because I see them exhibiting self-discipline. This is why some people even follow politicians, because you have a perception that this person has a particular discipline in their life. They have a particular worldview that you are aligned with or that you agree with, right? Whether that be true or not is neither here nor there. But that's what you perceive when you are looking at a politician and the message that they are giving to the public, right? You see a person who exhibits self-discipline. Now, self-discipline also comes from having discovered what your purpose is and knowing what the vision for your life is, right? Because if you're going to have purpose in your life that you have discovered, remember earlier I said it will then simplify your life because it will tell you of places you need to go, places you can't go. It will tell you things you need to do and things you cannot do. It will even tell you of certain spaces and people you need to be around and people you cannot be around, because you understand that this place that I'm at, it is either adding to my purpose or detracting from it. The people that I'm around, they are either fueling my purpose, they are making sure that I am going towards my vision, I am pursuing my passion, or they are distracting me from it, right? So that is self-discipline, when you are able to start deducing in your life the things that need to be away from you and the things that you need to draw towards your life, right? So it's because you have a particular purpose for your life, which translates to a vision for your life, and therefore it requires you to have discipline to pursue it. So discipline comes from vision. Now, disciplined people live a very narrow life, because vision simplifies everything about you, right? You don't get into everything. You get into the right things for you. That's discipline. Discipline is birthed by a vision. Wait, let me just repeat that. Discipline birthed by vision is a qualifier for everything you do and a qualifier for everything you do not do. So your vision of your life will give you discipline, and discipline will be the thing that will qualify what are the things that I do and what are the things that I don't do. That will come from having self-discipline, right? Now, that was our third key. Our final key that we see when it comes to people who are highly successful in their lives is they practice wisdom. When you look at somebody who's highly successful, you start understanding that this person has a particular wisdom of how they operate in life that leads them towards success. Now, let's define what wisdom is. Wisdom is the quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment. The quality of being wise. For instance, one would say, listen to his words of wisdom, because you understand that I'm talking to a person here in front of me that is wise in their lives. And wisdom has evidence. A person who's lived a life using wisdom, you can see in the natural what they have acquired in their life, the position they are in their lives. You can see it in their families. You can see it in their health. You can see it in their social status, that I am dealing with somebody who's wise in these particular areas of life, right? So wisdom is the quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment, the quality of being wise. My preferred reduced definition is wisdom is knowledge applied. It's having the ability to have knowledge about a particular thing and applying it to your life. So when you apply that knowledge, that is called wisdom, right? So from my preferred definition of wisdom, I said to you, wisdom is knowledge applied, right? So we might have to also define what knowledge is in order for us to know exactly what we're talking about. So knowledge is defined as follows. It's facts and skills acquired through experience or education. It's the theoretical or practical understanding of a subject, right? So what you want to do once you've discovered what your purpose is and you are applying self-discipline into your life and you are building your plan for your life, you want to make sure that you are functioning in wisdom. So the first stage of functioning in wisdom is that you need to get knowledge. You need to get facts. You need to get information. And you need to acquire skills that are acquired through experience or education. You want to practice these skills, right? So the example I'd like to make is somebody that you see functioning in their skill or functioning in wisdom, right? When you see a professional football player, right? When you see them receiving a ball that has been passed to them at high speed and they receive that ball like it's nothing, it's because they've practiced kicking this ball against the wall for so many times. He doesn't even have to think about it. He'll receive that ball while he's scanning the field and looking around where his players are. The ball is coming on the ground. By the time it gets to him, his foot is positioned in the right manner to receive that ball. It's neither too hard, his foot is neither too firm nor too soft. Because if his foot is too hard when he's receiving that ball, by the time it hits his foot, the ball will bounce away from him. If it's too soft, it might go underneath his foot or overpower his foot and go behind him. So over years of practice and understanding how they need to position their body, how their knees have to be soft and lower to the ground, they don't have to think about these things anymore. It's a muscle memory. So you need to acquire that over time. You need to acquire the facts. You need to acquire the information. You need to practice. Because facts, knowledge is also skill acquired over time, right? So you need to practice these things. And all these things, when they come together, they produce wisdom in your life. You know at what time to do what thing, right? So you want to invest in books, and not just the books that you get at school. So if you're a person who's passionate about, let's say, design, you want to make sure that you read up on books that are written by the most celebrated designers in the world. If you're a person who's passionate about technology, about coding, you want to acquire books that are about technology and about coding, because that's what you are passionate in your life. So there's a level of self-education that you need to supplement the education you get from school, right? So invest your resources in making sure that you acquire knowledge. You don't want to think about your stomach before thinking about your head. Losers think like that. Successful people acquire knowledge. They acquire understanding. No matter what it costs them, they go after understanding. So do that for your life. Another thought I want to share is that when you know the laws, you have power. When you know the laws of how things function, you have power. The example I just made for you of how to receive a ball, and the example that I made on the spot, it's because I have acquired that knowledge in doing that thing over years of playing football, right? So when you see a person who's skilled at something, when you see a person who's functioning at a high level of that gift, it's because they have an understanding of how the laws of that particular thing that they are doing works. When you see Lewis Hamilton driving that F1 car around that corner at neck-breaking speeds, it's because he knows exactly the limits he needs to take that car to, that he can turn that corner. You can't take me and just put me in the car and expect me. I'm going to slow down. I'm just going to slow down because I do not want to exit Earth. You know what I mean? So when you are seeing somebody functioning at a high level of their gift, it's because they understand the laws that govern what they do. Also, you can demand your own value when you know the laws that operate in the gift that you are operating in. When you know the laws of how to successfully speak in public to crowds, you will fetch a premium for people to book you to come speak to them, because you have practiced this thing so many times. You know how to deal with a hard crowd. You know how to deal with a crowd that is very soft. You know how to deal with the crowd that doesn't even want to laugh at your jokes, because you've practiced this over time. You know the laws that govern a crowd. So make sure you get knowledge and wisdom. Hope to see you at the top. Be successful, and God bless you.
Wow, thank you so much, Ambassador Sibatle, for that wonderful session. We learned a lot. I learned a lot, and I hope our viewers did, about purpose and about how self-discipline narrows our lives. Tomorrow we still have a great session with Ambassador Jackie, and on Sunday actually, it's Ambassador Prince. We're going to meet same time, 7 o'clock, and I hope to see you then. Thank you.